Welcome to Anatomy and Physiology. This is video number 4 for chapter 3, a review of biology. In this video, we're going to be looking at a very specific type of mediated transport in all cells. And this is the sodium potassium ATP pump, sometimes just called the sodium potassium pump. This is classified as active, which means that we need energy for this to occur. So this pump runs on ATP. It is also antiport. So that means that as one thing moves in, another thing moves out. So the substances travel together, but in opposite directions. So we're going to go through these diagrams, and you can see that we have numbers here. So we're going to explain what is happening in each one of these numbers. So our first one here, if we look at this diagram, here is our pump. It is embedded and is transverses the lipid bilayer, our cell membrane. So in this, we have these three things right here. So I'm going to number them 1, 2, and 3. You can see how these little representations of sodium ions fit inside of this pump. So 3 Na plus and 1 ATP, ATP right here fits into this little site. Those four things bind to the pump protein. If we look down to our next diagram with number 2 down here, we can see that as ATP binds to there, the ADP breaks off and leaves a phosphate attached. So ATP breaks down to ADP plus phosphorus plus energy. So the energy released is used to change the pump shape. And you can see that now these sodiums are actually traveling through here. So the shape change causes the pump to move the Na plus out of the cell. So that's number 3. The shape change causes Na plus, and there's 3 of them, to be transported and released into the ECF. And this causes openings to appear in the ECF for K plus, potassium. So spots open for 2 K plus ions to bind to the pump. Then we're going to move down here to step number 4. Step number 4, Na plus diffuses into the ECF. Because it traveled through the pump and now it can diffuse out into the ECF out here. Number 5, K plus binds to the pump protein. That binding causes the inorganic phosphate that was attached down here to be released, which then our last step down here, the release of inorganic phosphate, causes the pump to return to its original shape, and K plus is released into the ICF, the intracellular fluid. So this is happening in almost every single cell, but especially in nerve cells. And this helps maintain a certain concentration of sodium and potassium in the ECF and ICF. And we'll talk about these more later, but our net function for this is 3Na out, 2K plus in, 1 ATP used. This is a 3-2-1. 3 sodiums out, 2 Ks in, 1 ATP used. That is the overall function of the sodium-potassium pump.